Oh, come on. That feels good. Yeah. Welcome to the Comparison Group Podcast. I apologize in advance for what I'm about to do. If I could escape doing it, I would, but I can't. I've had it up to here with this nonsense. I can't stand no more.
If I could escape, I would, but first of all, let me say I must apologize for acting stinking, treating you this way. Cause I've been acting like how I'm up on the floor. It's your fault you didn't shut the refrigerator. Maybe that's the reason I've been acting so cold. If I could escape.
Thanks for joining me. I didn't quite make the 3 shows in a week, but here I am with the show I've been itching to do. Just itching to do. And some people ain't going to like it. And before I start, let me just send a message to my loved ones listening out there. Don't worry. I have a full team of medical professionals standing right outside the door just in case the top of my head blows right off during this episode. Oh, well, what has set you off this time, comparison group guy? Is it Trump? Nope. I told you, I'm not following him or the media down every rabbit hole they come up with. Oh, is it the Hollywood actors and writers strike? Nope. I don't care. I watch reruns. They could never make another TV show or movie for all I care. Oh, is it the heat? It is hot. I will say that. It is hot. But no, it's not that. It's so hot, I saw a Mexican landscaper actually take a layer of clothing off. They do layer up in this heat, don't they? It's very interesting. But no, it's not the heat. No, what I have had it up to here with is all the slogans, the catchphrases, the cliches, the sayings, the quotes, the mottos, the mantras, all being used as answers to complicated questions because people don't want to think anymore. Not you. You know, if you're in a comparison group, we overthink. But let me say it again. Let me just say it again. It's all the slogans, the catchphrases, the cliches, the sayings, the quotes, the mottos, the mantras that are all used as answers to complicated questions. What are some examples? You can find them anywhere. You can find them across the political spectrum. This is just not a right thing or a left thing. But what are some examples? Now, here's one.
Guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more.
Or how about this favorite?
Pay your fair share. Pay your fair share. Pay your fair share.
Joe really does like that whispering, doesn't he? It's like he's trying to get me aroused or something. I don't know. Maybe if you play it with a little porno music. Let me see.
Pay your fair share. Pay your fair share. Pay your fair share.
Oh, yeah, Joe. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Say it again, Joe. Say it for the millionth time. Are you getting close? No, because that's not a solution. It's a slogan. It's not a solution. Pay your workers more or pay your fair share are not solutions to complicated problems. They're slogans. They're catchphrases. How about this one?
We're losing our country. We have to start clawing it back in November.
Or
the Biden administration has failed the American people. He has failed our Border Patrol agents. He has failed our border communities, and he has failed America with his open border policy.
We're losing our country. They're taking away our freedoms. This is fascism. Said by both the left and the right, by the way, that one. The border is open. Biden, the Democrats, they have an open border policy. All catchphrases, all slogans. No solutions, no answers to complicated problems. These are complicated problems. I'm not saying Biden is getting it right. Democrats are getting it right. I'm not saying Republicans are getting it right. I'm saying they just keep throwing out these slogans and catchphrases and nobody's coming up with any solutions. They're taking away our freedom. You can't say anything. You can't do this. You can't. I don't know. What's the limit? What is the limit on the First Amendment? Can I come on this podcast and rant against someone I don't like, maybe even a rival podcaster, and say, oh, they hate America. And this is where they live. This is their address. If you see them out, let them know how they feel, or let them know how you feel. And the person listening thinks, oh, you mean kill them? Or if I say someone is an existential threat to our democracy and they must be stopped, and someone thinks, oh, you mean I should kill them? So if someone tells me, you can't do that. You can't say that. And I say, well, that's infringing on my freedoms. That's infringing on my First Amendment right. This is a complicated problem. With this hate speech and all this stuff, with the social media. It's complicated. We don't need slogans. We need solutions. We need ideas. But that requires thinking. Thinking. And it's like we've given up on that. But what if it works? What if Biden arouses me enough with his whispering, and I say, I am going to pay my workers more. I appreciate my workers. I'm going to give them benefits. I'm going to give them more money. But my competition doesn't. And so with cheaper labor, they undercut me on price. Will the consumer go out of their way to give me their business? Will they be willing to pay more for my product or service? No, don't rack your brain. They won't. No. Overall, the consumer is looking for the best price. If two companies are offering pretty much the same product or service, the consumer is going to go with the one with the best price. That's just how it works. These are complicated issues. They deserve more thought than a motto. God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. First of all, who the heck is Steve? Second of all, ask God, how should we handle the transgender issue? Because I think he said love everyone. And maybe he didn't say it, but that seemed to be his whole vibe. Love everyone. So these are complicated issues. They deserve more than a catchphrase. But the one that set me off. Oh boy. The one that got me fired up to do this episode, I'm sorry, it comes from the left. Now listen, I could very easily pick one from the right and be just as fired up, trust me. But I guess sometimes I feel I need to be harder on the left because I expect more from them. We see what's going on right now with the Republicans. With the right, they're a little screwed up with Trump. But the left, they seem to insist on wanting to tell me how smart they are. And they seem to come across, with a little bit of, hey, we got it all figured out. Why don't you just listen to us? Sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm a little harder on the left sometimes because I expect more. I expect better. So the slogan from the left that set me off was, inflation is because of corporate greed. This is absolutely 100% the answer you will get from the progressive left if you complain about high prices and inflation. Well, it's because of corporate greed. Now let's do this. Let me just start by accepting that as the reason for inflation. There are a lot of different reasons for the inflation have been experiencing. A lot of different reasons. But to keep the show short, let me just accept that the reason for inflation is corporate greed. All right? So now I told you a few episodes ago, I was shocked to see a small bag of potato chips, the smallest bag, selling for $2.50. Well, I got comments. This is because of corporate greed. Listen to me. Listen to me. Corporations don't set the price for that bag of potato chips. The market does. Tell me, comparison group listeners, who is the market? We are. We are. We set the price for that bag of potato chips by buying them or not buying them. I didn't buy them. I said, you must be crazy. And if you don't believe me, go back and listen to episodes from the past when I've talked about Dunkin' Donuts and how I said, I'm not going to keep paying the amount of money at Dunkin' Donuts. What? I changed my behavior. Go back and listen to the episodes. It's got to be now over a year and a half ago when I sat here and I said, stop spending. Don't you dare make me go back and get the clips. Don't you dare. You know I don't lie. Over and over, I said prices won't go down until people stop spending, until people are just broke, until the trillions of dollars pumped into the economy by both Trump and Biden, by both administrations, until those trillions of dollars are exhausted, the prices will not come down because people just can't stop spending. The money has to be exhausted. I gave you data. 2020, consumer spending up. 2021, consumer spending up. Oh, of course you might say inflation was at its peak in those years, so spending would be up. When inflation is at its peak, so spending is supposed to go down. It's supposed to go down, not up. You think during the Great Recession, 2008, 2009, consumer spending was up? No, it was down. Consumer spending was down in those years. Go look it up. What was the difference? Oh, well, the government helped out a little. Government did some stimulus spending, sure. $1 billion in stimulus spending. We did trillions of dollars in spending for the pandemic in essentially a year, in 1 year. That's the cause of your inflation. That's the cause. Corporate greed is the result, not the cause, the result. They can only be greedy if people are spending. But here's what also gets me from the pay your fair share party. The Fed has been steadily increasing interest rates to fight inflation by cooling down the economy and draining some of the money out of the economy. And Joe Biden and the Democrats are doing everything they can to keep pumping money into the economy because of another slogan. People are struggling. We got to help struggling families. Prices are high. People are struggling. Prices are high because you keep increasing SNAP benefits so people can go out and spend. If it's not being done at the federal level, it's done in blue states. In March of 2020, the federal government boosted SNAP benefits. That's food stamps for people who don't know. Boosted SNAP benefits to help people due to the pandemic. When that ended in February of this year, governors in blue states like New Jersey, for instance, passed their own legislation to boost the payments. Oh, my goodness. My goodness me. If only there was a podcast that warned us about this in episodes entitled, When Will Inflation End? Or Will the Inflation Reduction Act Work? If only there was a podcast that gave us a resource to track this stuff. Oh, yeah. I told you about usaspending.gov. It's still on the website if you want to go take a look at it, www.thecomparisongroup.com. It's still up there under sources. If you don't remember the website, usaspending.gov, go to the website, comparison group website, and look for it under sources and check it out. Here's what you'll find. In 2017, the spending at the Department of Agriculture, that's spending on SNAP, on food stamps, child nutrition, WIC, those kind of programs. The spending, not the budget, the spending, actual spending, 2017, $135.7 billion. The following year, $183.5 billion. Last year, 2022, $287 billion. Now listen to me. It's interesting. The increase in the spending at the Department of Agriculture from 2017 to 2018, it wasn't SNAP or WIC. Those programs stayed flat or even decreased a bit. There appeared to be spending of billions on loans to farmers during these Trump years, which, looking at which farms got loans, that could be an entire show in and of itself, but I'm trying to stay on track here. But I guess the point I'm trying to make here, you start looking at this stuff and you realize even if the spending didn't increase because of something Democrats wanted to do, it increased because of something Republicans wanted to do. But in any case, back to 2022. First, in 2018, SNAP spending, just SNAP, was $69.5 billion. In 2022, the SNAP program, food stamps, $144.5 billion. There was a $100 billion increase at the Department of Agriculture between 2018 and 2022, and $75 billion of that, 75%, was just SNAP, just that one program. There's your inflation, part of the cause of your inflation. There's your corporate greed. If you constantly increase the money for people to buy products, corporations have no reason to lower their prices. And keep in mind, these increases in spending were all being done as Democrats were patting themselves on the back for cutting childhood poverty. No, the additional child care payment, that child care credit, that cut childhood poverty in half. Yeah, that child care tax credit was just more money to give to greedy corporations to cause inflation. Now, I should probably clarify here. I'm not beating up on poor people. It ain't just food. People have not cut back on travel. Online shopping is at record levels. Dining out. Even some brick and mortar retail stores are doing well in this economy, or have been. Across the board, people have not until very recently cut back on spending. A lot of it coinciding with COVID-era money finally running out. Correction from earlier, it was just under $1 trillion. It was like 800-something billion in the stimulus that Obama did. So it was just under $1 trillion that was done in the Obama administration as stimulus. Again, the pandemic was trillions. It was like $6 trillion spent in probably a shorter amount of time. So corporations are greedy. We agree on that, right? I mean, no corporation should get away with paying zero in federal taxes. Who doesn't agree with that? So corporations are greedy. They should pay something in taxes, but we are the spending addicts. And the federal government has been our supplier. Oh, hit me with a little more, baby. Oh, give me a little more, baby. Give me another check. Oh, hit me with a little more. I like that analogy. Corporations are like the drug cartels. The government is the supplier, and we're the addicts that can't stop spending, no matter how high prices get for some things. Now, of course, some things we have no choice. You got to buy, you got to eat, right? So you got to buy eggs and bread and milk and meat and medicine, but not potato chips, not cookies, not candy. Everything that people buy, they don't have to buy. But everyone, is entitled to a vacation. You should be able to take some time off or a night out. And there are people who are legitimately struggling out there. No question about it. But when all the money, all the trillions of dollars are being pumped in this economy during COVID, so struggling people could eat, some of them must have been eating patio furniture because that's what they were buying with that money. I heard Democrats going on TV when they were trying to get some of these COVID relief bills passed. They'd go on TV and they'd say, listen, the kids out there, they're starving because they're not in school. Some of these kids, the only meal they get is that school lunch. Well, I had to ask, well, what the heck are the parents doing with the money they're already getting? You follow me here? If these kids are so poor that the only meal they're going to get is when they go to school, well, I kind of sort of have to presume that the parents are already getting some sort of relief, some sort of benefits. So what are they doing with that money? How come the kids don't have any food at home if the parents were already, I presume, getting something from the government? These COVID relief bills were in addition to. They were in addition to. It was increasing these benefits. It was increasing the unemployment. It wasn't creating unemployment. It was increasing unemployment to the point to where people were making more money to stay home than go to work. That's your inflation. Now, please believe me, I'm not coming down on poor people or just liberals for the sake of coming down on liberals. I can make these arguments about a lot of different things, about a lot of money that went to businesses that did not need it. Loans that turned out to not be loans. They just got money, just got grants during COVID to the tune of billions of dollars they didn't have to pay back that they didn't need. So I can make this argument that helped increase our inflation on a lot of different things. But there are just certain things that drive me crazy. Think of this one. One of the biggest greedy corporation haters out there is AOC, right? Alexandria, I see the glass as half whatever I want it to be, Ocasio-Cortez. How many Apple stores do you think there are in her district, Queens and the Bronx? How many Apple stores? There are 2. How many Apple stores do you think there are in the entire state of Oklahoma? There are 2. Alexandria, I clipped my toenails in public, Ocasio-Cortez's district of 696,000 people, has 2 Apple stores. The state of Oklahoma, with 4 million people, has 2 Apple stores. How could that be? How could the majority Spanish and black progressive anti-greedy corporation district of Alexandria, a billionaire in the hand is worth 2 in a submarine, Ocasio-Cortez, how could there be so much demand from one of the largest corporations in the world? And trust me, I bet you those 2 Apple stores in Queens and the Bronx are busier than a vibrator at an all-girls college. Those are the type of stores where the people line up 12 hours ahead of time when there's a new iPhone coming out. They got to get in line. Line goes around the block. Why? What the heck do people need with all this technology? Oh, well, they want to make sure they can support Netflix, another corporation, and they want to support TikTok, another corporation, and they want to support Meta and Threads, another corporation, and they want to make videos and become influencers to push products from corporations so they can get rich and make money to buy expensive stuff from corporations. You're screaming at the corporations for being greedy. How about screaming at the addicts in your district that can't stop spending? They got to have the latest product from Apple as soon as it comes. I got to get those earbuds. I got to get that tablet. I got to get that phone. Oh, I got to get that Apple Watch. Oh, the Apple Glass, the Apple this, the Apple. I got to get it, got to have it. Scream at them. These corporations ain't making record profits because people ain't spending. And maybe I should say, scream at them in addition to the corporations. Because this is not a defense of the corporations. Let me say it again. I accept the premise that they're greedy. This is a defense of thinking, of using your head. Don't you see the flaw in your plan? Well, we'll tax the corporations because they need to pay their fair share, slogan. We'll use that money to create programs like the child care tax credit because people are struggling, slogan. Then people can go out and buy things from the corporations who raise prices because we tax them. Don't you see the flaw? Who gets hurt? Not the corporations, not the rich people, not the people at the top. Never. Not even really the people at the bottom. They're poor, and they pretty much stay poor. It's the majority in the middle. Always the majority in the middle. Now, I'm no genius, but I can see this. How could Alexandria, a socialist, a communist, and a progressive walk into a bar, Ocasio-Cortez, not see this? How is that possible? I mean, she's still fairly young. Maybe she hasn't figured it out yet. But Bernie Sanders, he's walked this earth for over 600 years. And he appears to not understand it either. And these are smart people. Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, Alexandria, stop me if you've heard this one before, Ocasio-Cortez. I wouldn't want to debate them on the economy, but compete against them in business? Actually running a business and making a profit? Oh, yeah, I'd do that every day. Twice on Sunday. I'd compete against them in business, running a business. We could each open coffee shops in Alexandria. 40 people are sharing my Netflix password, Ocasio-Cortez's district. In a year, I would be opening my second location, and she would still be negotiating for paid time off for mental wellness with the unions. I'd be selling coffee for $7 a cup, and she wouldn't even have opened her doors yet. Because it's way better to be someone who knows how to run a business than someone who thinks they know how to run a business or thinks they know how you should be running your business. Suffering succotash. Why do I even do this? Does anyone understand? Am I making any sense? I ask you, if you have liberal friends, progressive friends, moderate friends, whatever, send this to them, share it, and say, look, I'm challenging you here because, people right away, I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. Maybe say, look, I'm challenging you here. You seem to act like you have a firm grasp on this thing and you're pretty sure of what you think, we should be doing. Listen to this and tell me what you think. Say, look, I'm challenging you here. I'm asking you, tell me what you think. And if they won't comment to me directly, you comment to me what they commented to you. I am genuinely interested in what people think. What am I missing? Am I saying anything wrong? What am I missing? It seems so simple. All I'm saying is we have to think. We have to think and come up with solutions. We just can't settle for catchphrases. That's all I'm saying. We have to think. We've given up thinking. So with all that being said, I know the question you probably have. Why sometimes do I feel like I have to go wipe my butt even though I haven't gone doo-doo? The scientific term is mud butt. You have mud butt. You may also be asking, so what are we supposed to do? What's the solution? Well, I've given them before on this topic in past episodes. I'm not going to go through it again and bore my regular listeners with stuff I've already said. You can go back and you can find it probably in, I don't know, maybe spending shows or inflation shows. I don't remember the exact episodes, but I've given a bunch of ideas and a bunch of solutions. And I don't expect people to agree with any of them or all of them, but I'm giving them, I'm trying. But obviously what I'm suggesting is that we just start thinking in this country again. Don't just accept these catchphrases from anyone, left or right. And maybe if we expect more, if we demand more to the question, how are you going to improve the economy? We'll get more than we're going to roll up our sleeves and put America back to work. Oh, I think I gave myself a headache. It was worth it, though. It was worth it. People got to hear what I got to say.
You know there's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind.
Go to church 'cause your mama says to. Visit grandpa every chance that you
Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for rating. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora.
Please say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming.
I hope you get an opportunity to listen to the other two shows I did in the past. I guess it was 10 days. Like I said, didn't quite make it in a week. But all of these shows, these three shows, they were kind of tied in. You might pick up the thread throughout. So hopefully you get a chance to listen to them all. Don't forget to go to Spotify to answer questions, to answer the poll question. Just keep in mind, those answers, comments, I should say, don't get published immediately. I have to see them and then publish them, and I'm not publishing nothing negative. I shouldn't say negative. Anything, criticism I don't mind. Just try and make it constructive, that's all. So please do that on Spotify if you haven't done it yet, if you're able to do it. Like I said, this is about discussion. It's about ideas. It's about solutions. I don't care which side wins as long as America wins. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.
Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget, turn back around at the next one in line. And always stay humble.